Hi, I'm Angela Hahn, here with CCTV. With me I have Ely and Parth Patel, and today we're going to be talking about the sophomore slump. But first, let's watch some videos.
I do think the sophomore slump is a real thing.
Why?
I think that in a lot of ways sophomore year is different than freshman year, and there's a lot that needs adjusting to sophomore year that wasn't present freshman year. And I think that the course load is higher, work is just more difficult, your living situation is different without the sponsor group. There's a lot of things that I think add to it.
Sophomore slump to me is more of the pressure of getting to sophomore year, of finding your career path and major. I switched from IR dual econ to math econ to IR math to PPE and then back to IR econ because it went through a lot. You have to ask a lot of professors and then you think of what career path your major might indicate, and it was a lot of pressure of finding that out and deciding that this is what you're gonna have for the rest of your college career. And also it's a lot of pressure of finding internships, going to a lot of info sessions of trying to figure out what opportunities you can get, and you're so scared of missing out because the peer pressure now is getting onto you. In addition, I feel like social-wise, you enter kind of a conundrum of like having your old friends and reluctant to reach out to new ones, and you want to kind of find a boyfriend, but then you realize that you have so much things on your plate right now of getting your academic, getting your GPA high, getting extracurricular, getting leadership activities, finding on-campus jobs. All these things flood to you and you have no time to find a boyfriend whatsoever. So that would be what sophomore slump means to me.
Well, I think my sophomore year was very good, even better than freshman year, because I found I got accustomed to college life better, and I really think the whole college life should be exploration, so I did not feel panic.
I do think that the sophomore slump is real for a lot of people, especially people who start questioning their majors their sophomore year, or just reconsidering their future plans or just thinking about their future plans. It can also be real because of sponsor groups splitting up and living in different places. It can really change from freshman year. But I also think that the sophomore slump can kind of go the opposite way for some people, and it can be a better experience, so it just kind of depends.
Sophomore slump is not a real thing because I personally like my classes a lot better sophomore year. I have a lot more freedom about what to take, and I really enjoy my classes, so it makes the work a lot more rewarding. So classes are great.
Well, as I sit here with all my work, I can say that sophomore year has definitely been a lot more work and it's been a lot more challenging, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I feel like my classes are meeting me at the level that I'm ready for, and they're a lot more interesting.
So, Parth, tell me, do you think the sophomore slump is a real thing?
Do you want to start?
I would love to. I do think the sophomore slump is a real thing, and I think a lot of it's based on expectations that people have coming into sophomore year. I think it varies a lot based on the experience that you've had as a first year at Pomona or at any of the 5Cs. I think something particular to the 5Cs is that you can choose a lot of the extracurricular activities that you want to be involved in, and those are really going to dictate how much free time you have. And then going into the sophomore, your classes are probably going to get more difficult, but your extracurriculars, I guess you have more agency in deciding how much you want to commit to them. And I feel like a lot of people enter overcommitting themselves, and I feel like that's partly why people experience sophomore slump.
Well, I don't feel like sophomore slump is real. It's true that of course you have harder classes and you probably have much more to do, and you don't live with your sponsor group anymore. But at the same time, you also got much more involved on campus. Because coming as freshman, you probably don't know where the resources are, which activities to join. But as sophomore, you already are able to handle the campus and know where are all the opportunities, and can find them and utilize them as well as you can. So I think that's something that sophomores really have an edge over freshmen. So I guess if you do have a lot to do, but as long as you are really enjoying them, then there's no such thing as sophomore slump. As long as you like what you do.
Mm-hmm. I've been hearing some things from people around the campus though that they think part of the myth or, the truth about sophomore slump stems from the fact that you don't have as many safety nets, you don't have as strong a support system as you do freshman year, because, when in your freshman year, everyone's there for you, you have your sponsor, your RA, people really, really pay attention to your needs and are there for you if you need to reach out. So do you think that might contribute at all, or do you think that's not a factor?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like as a freshman, I just feel so blessed with my sponsor group and AMP and ISMP. But now I'm still ISMP mentor, so under me I have 4 of my mentees, and then you kind of mentor them. That feels really good as well. But I guess although you don't have the mentorships, the resources and opportunities are still there for you. So you still have your professors talk to, and you might already develop closer relationship to them, and you still have writing center and CDO and study abroad office. So I guess whatever you want to do, you still probably can find the resources. Also at the same time, you probably already have a stronger friendship with many of your friends. So I guess from that point of view, you probably don't need mentors anymore, because you already grew up and can live independently, and you have your group of friends, and you know where to find the essential services to provide for yourself. So I guess that's why sophomores don't need as much protection and safety net as freshmen do. And also, considering in the future we wouldn't have those safety nets anyway, it's probably good for us to break out of it, as a sophomore.
Yeah. I think I would disagree a little bit. I think that there is less of a safety net for sophomores in general. I guess I can only speak to the experience of first years at Pomona, but I think the sponsor program at Pomona does a fantastic job of making people feel welcome and included in the community. And then I think for juniors, people have usually declared their majors, so they kind of have a community there. And then they've built relationships with the professors by then. And then by senior year, you kind of have more of a career trajectory. You kind of you're in the Claremont bubble, but you're reaching out, looking for internships, actual jobs, fellowships. But I think sophomore year is the year that you kind of get neglected, I guess. And I know that a lot of the sophomores I know, they're sponsors, and so I think at least for them, I know they're going through a lot and stuff, dealing with their sponsees and then their own life problems and stuff like that. But at least there's a program in place for them. But I think for the other sophomores, I feel they kind of get just pushed off the map. Yeah.
Well, so one thing we'll be trying to do, so as the class president, one thing is we want to make sure even though they're kind of neglected, I want to make sure sophomores don't feel neglected. So one thing we've been doing is sending out sophomore newsletters. So last week we sent another one about CDO resources, and next week we're gonna send the one about study abroad. So we still want to make sure sophomores kind of start looking into maybe study abroad opportunities and internships, since they are coming up pretty soon, and know where to find these opportunities, so they don't feel neglected and then still be involved on campus. So I think that's something we're trying to build stronger community, and that involves all the sophomore class, of course.
Yeah, and I think that kind of answers the question itself. The fact that we feel the need on behalf of I guess ASPC or the administration to do something about that. It kind of speaks to the fact that there is some kind of problem that's in place.
And you touched upon this a little bit in your previous statement about how there's a difference between junior year and senior year and sophomore year. Can you talk a little bit more about the difference? Because being a junior, you would understand, going from sophomore year to junior year. Is there a difference? Is there a sophomore slump to come out of when you're going into your junior year?
I think this varies tremendously. I think some people, they go abroad, for example, and then that's kind of a way to get away from Claremont, get away from things that are bothering you here. For other people, they kind of become very invested in their majors, so they're just taking classes they really enjoy. Me personally, this semester's been pretty miserable, and I think it was much harder than sophomore year. And I think I experienced sophomore slump as a sophomore as well. I think just going in this year, I was pre-med, I was a bio CS double major. I'm taking over 5 math science classes. So I've just been too busy with work to kind of have time for myself. And then I think junior year, there's a lot of time for personal growth and development. I think I've definitely grown more outside the classroom. I've realized my own limits. As of 6 days ago, I dropped pre-med, I dropped my bio major, and so now I'm very CS focused. I feel I have more direction now, I'm feeling better. But I feel like for a lot of people, that process may take longer, or that process may be completed like over the summer or before they even enter junior year. But I think a lot of the problems that people like are pointing out in these other videos about sophomore year, like, oh, like you have so much work and like you have to make time to socialize and you have to make time to like go to the gym, like do all these other things. Like, I feel like those are pretty universal like college problems. Like, people are busy and there's always a desire to do more things with the time you have.